For the Johnson family, Tuesday night is taco night, but for the Johnsons' young son Will, Tuesday night is also a dreaded homework night. Nearly every day, after Will gets home from school, he spends 1 hour, even sometimes two, just on homework. While Will isn't the only one that gets frustrated with this task, his mom is also frustrated as she tries to multitask, cooking dinner and also trying to help him on his tedious assignment that his teacher assigned him. Nothing makes her feel worse than when the assignment requires a computer and she has to go to her neighbor's house or to the library and find time to use their resources. If only Will's school had implemented the no mandatory homework for elementary students policy, maybe the Johnsons would have enjoyed their taco night instead of spending the night worrying about their homework. Although I was a strange child who always enjoyed having a ton of homework, I first became interested in whether homework was really beneficial when I noticed students like those in after-school care programs, or even my boyfriend's 7-year-old, who nightly sat and really struggled with homework and usually ended her night in tears. First, I will discuss a wide range of reasons and evidence supporting my decision that homework is not beneficial for elementary school students. I propose that homework should not be mandatory for students until the 6th grade, around age 11 or 12, usually age 11. Then I will review one elementary school who actually banned homework and another thing that they implemented along with it. First, let's look at some of the many reasons why homework is more detrimental than it is beneficial for children in the elementary school age. Young children are developmentally different from, let's say, college students, as young children are still developing the ability to even think, and they're learning how to achieve cognitive processes. From infancy and well into adolescence, children learn by exploring the world around them, by touching, sensing, smelling, tasting things, and interpreting how those objects fit into the bigger picture. According to my psychology textbook, children are unable to think abstractly until at least the age of 12. Which means that many of them have a hard time understanding such complicated homework. At a young age, children have also a very highly egocentric view of the world, which means that they have a hard time seeing the world or perceiving it from someone else's point of view. So imagine being a young child and having homework in front of you that was written by someone who's well into their adult ages. It's quite difficult for that child to wrap their mind around how their teacher was thinking when they wrote the question. Also, homework actually hasn't been proven to really benefit children in the elementary school age. There's never been shown a correlation between how much homework elementary school children have or whether or not they have it, and looking at the academic success that they have, any measure of their academic success. Homework has been accepted as part of the American culture. It's what you come to expect as a part of your education. But are we just doing it because it's culture? And have we forgotten to really look at whether it's benefiting our children or really hurting them more? School's also largely sedentary. We all know that children love to move. They are highly energetic and they really need to be active throughout the day. So when they've spent 6 of their 7 or 8 hours at school sitting down in a chair and learning, they really need to come home and use that extra energy before bed. They need to go out and play with their siblings or their friends and really be kids. And that's what some schools have seen as they've tried implementing these no homework policies. Homework is also very stressful for families, not just the student, but also the parents themselves, who oftentimes have to help their children with the homework and may not have time for that. Especially children who are in after-school care programs. You now have babysitters and after-school mentors that are stuck helping children through these homework assignments. Many working-class parents also lack resources and even the knowledge necessary to help their children succeed. Some of the working class parents have not had the education necessary to be able to provide as educators for their own children, if that makes sense. So sometimes homework assignments can really even be detrimental for the parents and almost an embarrassment because they're unable to help their elementary school children. Now that we've looked at some of the key reasons for why homework shouldn't be mandatory in elementary school children, let's look at one school, the Gaithersburg Elementary School in Maryland, who decided to actually do away with mandatory homework, and they also implemented something kind of cool in return. So according to the Huffington Post, back in 2012, the Gaithersburg Elementary School in Gaithersburg, Maryland, decided that they would ban mandatory homework assignments for all of their elementary school children. But in return, the teachers they did not require, but they asked the parents to read to their kids 30 minutes each night. And I loved this idea. Years have shown that there are many benefits of reading and being literate, anything from a higher vocabulary and just a wider range of vocabulary words to an ability to think critically. I believe that children who start reading at a young age perform better in school. Reading is the basis for any other kind of knowledge. You need reading in order to learn history, to write poetry in English class, to do math even. So those students that start reading at a young age really benefit in the long run with their academic career. And with 82% of the Gaithersburg family or students being on free or reduced lunch programs in 2012, and 70% of the Gaithersburg students coming from homes who did not speak English as a first language, the parents really kind of agreed with the decision and welcomed it because homework was just a burden on them, and I think it really gave them kind of a sigh of relief to know that that added pressure wasn't there anymore. Other schools around the country, and even in Canada, have begun to implement some of these programs, kind of experimenting to see if there is any correlation between letting these children come home and just be kids and read with their parents every night as opposed to drilling in more concepts that you've already drilled in for 7 to 8 hours previously that day. So I think that as more research is done and more knowledge is kind of pulled together, we'll be able to come back with concrete evidence and really maybe sway everyone to realize that homework shouldn't start at such a young age. So as I conclude my speech, let's review some key reasons why elementary school students should not have mandatory homework assignments. First, until the age of 12, students really have a hard time thinking abstractly, which makes many homework assignments difficult to comprehend. Homework actually hasn't been proven to aid in academic success at the elementary age, and it is an added stress for many working class families. Additionally, mandatory homework places an unrealistic expectation on students who go to work or who go to school as if it's a full-time job, 7 to 8 hours a day, and then we expect them to come home and do more hours of homework. It's just really overwhelming for a lot of kids, and it deters their desire to learn. As more schools pioneer the no homework movement, as the Gaithersburg Elementary School did in Maryland, I believe we will see happier children who are more excited to come to school to learn every day and who actually perform better in school as a result of those nightly reading times with their families. And I think as more schools were to reevaluate their homework plans and maybe not make them mandatory, families will find more time to be able to be with each other and to read to their children, and it will be just beneficial to everyone.